We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on the Titans defense for the Dolphins, seeing how they can attack them and really looking at them. They're a pretty solid run defensive unit, but they're actually like the worst defense versus outside receivers in the league. So you could see, a big game from Tyreek or Waddle finding success. That's where probably they're going to have their most explosive plays. They give up some big explosives on the outside. Really wanted to show this play versus the run just because they're a very solid run defense, but they're also missing Jeffrey Simmons. Simmons, who right here, is not playing in this game. That's like the biggest loss they could have as a defensive unit. He's one of the best players in the league, period. He's truly dominant, so maybe without them, their run defense doesn't become as good. He's also disruptive as a pass rusher. It's just a huge loss overall. Dolphins could find some more success running the ball than usual. And then, looking at the rest of their team, you'll see they have some pretty aggressive safeties. Attacking the middle of the field might not be as successful. They're really going to cover that, get into that. The Colts offense, as we're looking at, actually runs some similar concepts. So what the Dolphins have done, they actually run that same real slide RPO, and the Titans kind of struggled versus that. So I think the Dolphins offense can find a lot of success in this game. Here's a good example of their safety play. They've been very aggressive getting downhill right away. Their corner play is definitely more susceptible, especially to the outside. But this example, even though this play is going to the outside here, just watch the safety, the trigger downhill, make a play, close super fast. I got to respect that aggressiveness. They're going to, really attack downhill. They'll do it on these types of plays down the flat, quick passes, but also over the middle of the field. And then here's the big play. The Titans run a bunch of quarters. What I've noticed from them, it was either quarters, and they weren't in quarters, they were in single high, and then it would be either cover one or cover three. But pretty much just those three coverages are what I saw like 95% of the time. They hit the deep shot to Alec Pierce here. Pierce had a huge game. Pittman had a huge game on the outside. Downs, the other good slot receiver, had a, was not much of a factor. They're just super weak to the outside, especially this is how you attack quarters too. Have, pull this quarter safety with this dig route right here. Get his eyes down there, and then you throw the post behind it, and then they get caught lacking. That's where you can hit some big shots. So I expect to see multiple big opportunities taken to either Tyreek or Waddle. 3rd and 1. Colts running pretty much exactly what the Dolphins run. Doesn't end up being completed, but there's definitely opportunities here. It was multiple different options open. They did their cheat out motion to Pittman. That was open down to the flat. This receiver is not turning around. I don't know what he's doing. If this was the Dolphins offense, he would have already turned around. He looks way too late, starts to lose his balance, but that's wide open. Big way to convert. I'll show you another example of where the flat was open later on. This was still open. It just ended up being completed. Multiple options. They struggled to cover this throughout the game, so they're going to have to make an adjustment to really slow down Miami because it's something they run a decent amount. And I think, after watching this film, I wouldn't be surprised if they ran it like how much they ran it versus the Patriots. Another example, trying to hit like a quick in-breaker, sell the play action. They end up just going RPO. They pull it. And this was open. There's opportunity for this. Their DBs will open up those hips. They're going to be threatened, especially by, Hill's speed, Waddle's speed. Give up this. It ends up getting knocked down middle of the field by the linebackers. Good heads-up play. But there is opportunities to hit these types of RPOs, no matter what it is, for this against this defense for the Dolphins offense. Titans in cover one here, they run a lot of quarters, and now they like to run some man-to-man. I don't know if they're going to do that specifically versus the Dolphins, but there's definitely opportunities for big plays. They try to, work some switch release here, hit this double move. Just wanted to show this, really just to show that they will go cover one. Eyes get caught in the backfield by the linebacker. They get there with that tight end. Not something you should see a ton of with the Dolphins. Plus, they also bring pressure, and they drop the snap, and they're still able to get this big play off script. And if the Titans are running mainly quarters cover one, they should be in for a long day because the Dolphins have torched both those coverages all year. Here to see Pittman on the outside. DBs started playing with a lot of depth. They don't press a whole ton, but they like to give up some freebies here. They really just are trying to sell the vertical, almost giving I'm going to get the double move. You think it's going to be a double move. He opens up. It's not. It's just a plain curl route. Space is there to be given. This is something they can definitely take advantage of for sure. The motion out, play action, the pass protection up front. They have some, decent players to work with, but with no Jeffrey Simmons, I would be really worried as a Titans fan because I feel like the Dolphins offense matches up really well versus their defense, and Simmons is their game changer, game wrecker player up front. And if they can't stop the run at the same pace they usually do, then it will be a long day for them. 1st and 10, they go to seam real slider PO. Last time they ran on 3rd and 1, they're running the exact same concept, basically straight out of the Dolphins playbook that they ran last year. They play it slightly differently this time. You see how, 37 sees the motion across, gets outside with him. They match it up this time to the inside. This seam route is there, a quick glance to the inside. They don't cover the flat this time. They leave this guy unblocked. They get the flat. He gets to come down. You pick up 9 yards. You'll take that every single time. They just kind of struggled to really get all 3 options locked down, and it's somewhere the Dolphins, are very, very comfortable running. They've been doing it for the last 2 seasons, and it's been one of their more successful things, even when they're not hitting like big plays off of it. Good play here by Amani Hooker. Gotta say, these safeties get aggressive. They rotate into cover 1. These guys will hit the middle of the field. As you can see, he becomes like a robber. He sees this. He's reading the QB's eyes. Gets downhill immediately. Is gonna go there, attack. Something to just be aware of. If you're throwing over the middle of the field for Tua, these safeties find what they're doing, see where they're rotating, and don't just stare down your quick option unless they're nowhere. It's like the opposite side of the field of where that's rotating down, so you have a chance to actually complete these things. You want to protect your receivers. Plus, they could turn that into big turnovers if given the opportunity. As I was saying earlier, they really do struggle just on that vertical plane. They're playing quarters here, and those corners just struggle on the outside. Alec Pierce just runs straight by his guy. Doesn't do anything like super fancy, gives him a little double move there and just goes right by him. DB's not even looking at him. He kind of hesitates a little bit, but just lets him run right by. Doesn't recover. It ends up being incomplete because it's thrown, too far and out of bounds. But those opportunities present themselves multiple times versus this defense, even in the Colts offense. Like Alec Pierce had a huge game, and I don't think he's had a very good season overall. And imagine what Tyreek and Waddle are capable of. They're going to have to put a lot of extra attention on them, and that opens up everything else. 3rd and 8 situation, Titans going into cover 1. They like to play some cover 1 man-to-man a decent amount, especially as this game went on. They were running it more and more. They just get a quick drag route across the middle to Pittman, basically use that linebacker as his own leverage to get there. And if they're running man-to-man, I feel let's just say I'm very confident with what the Dolphins can accomplish when they face man-to-man this season. They've been very, very solid against it. This is similar. They face some similar defense. They like to run a lot of quarters, a lot of man, and they had some very good games, especially the receivers getting open a lot. Now we're in overtime, 1-on-1. They're pressing to the bottom. Pierce wins right off the ball, and they hit another deep shot, basically to seal this game, get down inside the 5, and then score right after this. Just so many examples of them really struggling on the outside versus receivers, and these receivers aren't even near the level of Hill or Waddle. So looking at him doing that, I think Pittman's also had a 100-yard game in this one. So there's a lot of opportunities that I think Tyreek and Waddle. I think Waddle's going to have a really big one because I feel like just with how Tyreek's playing, they're going to have to give some extra attention to his side, and Waddle's going to get some one-on-one matchups. And if they ever give Tyreek Hill one-on-one matchups, he's going to, probably score. And then Waddle, I think, is going to have a 100-yard game in this one. This is how the Colts kind of finished it off. Titans, I haven't really showed it, but down in the red zone, it looks like they like to play some cover 0, like to play man, and then the Colts kind of struggled to score earlier on or create separation. They do a good job making them pass this off this time because they like to play 0, but with the ability to pass it off and bracket this type of stuff. So he takes 1 coming to the inside, and then he would take 2 going to the outside, but it really bends this back behind, so it puts the outside corner in a very tough spot, and it just gets that easy touchdown. Just wanted to show that to see how to take advantage of these types of concepts down in the red zone for the Dolphins. Plus, I do think they'll run the ball a little more successfully than the Colts did just because Simmons out, and I think they're just a better rushing team too. And with how good the passing game is, they have to put a little more numbers in the back end. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.